Hi, are you a new manager? Or can you remember being a new manager or a new leader? And were you really excited about the prospect of getting the team that you've always wanted? And then you get the team and you start, and it's like getting hit against a brick wall with all the various challenges that you have. If you don't know me, my name's Sonia Gavira, and I'm a leadership and success coach, and I've been coaching for the last 20 years or so. But before I did that, I also was once a new manager. And I really remember my very first management position, and it was straight out of university back in the 80s. And I was a graduate trainee, so a management trainee at Marks and Spencer's. And I really remember joining the company, as it was at the time renowned for its graduate training scheme, and was a place that I chose because of its reputation, because I thought I'd enjoy working in the stores. So I decided to be a management trainee in stores rather than at head office. And to be honest, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so because it had the reputation of being a great training scheme, that's why I joined. And I was a commercial management trainee. You could go into administration, you could go into personnel or HR. But I was a commercial management trainee, which meant that I did most of my work on the shop floor. And it was a really interesting time because I joined one of their very first out-of-town stores. And it was Brookfield Farm in the Herts, Essex borders in the UK. And it was on a shared site with Tesco's, and it was like, can you hear me now? Probably can. I think something's happening to my mic today. But anyway, so I was in this big political store, which was one of the challenges. The other challenge that I came up with straight away was that here I was straight out of university, and I had the title of graduate trainee manager in there. And I was managing people who had been working for Marks and Spencer's for 20 years with huge amounts of experience. But I was given the task, if you like, of managing them. And it was a really strange environment because not only were they older than I was, the vast majority of them, but they were also vastly more experienced in retail and in business. And even if they weren't older, if we were about the same age, I came in as a manager, but they still had loads of experience. So hugely political store because the whole of head office was looking at it. Lots of older people for me to manage, and vastly more experienced. And that brought with it some great people that wanted to help me, but also some people who would sit there and go, oh, here we go, another management trainee that we've got to train in order for this person, for her to become a store manager. So those were all some really big challenges that I faced from day one. And here comes another big challenge, which almost in the end superseded all of that, was my mindset at the time. So my belief was, and that belief was there because I'd proven it. Okay, my belief was that all I needed to do was work hard. I needed to work hard, and if I worked hard, I'd be successful. People would notice, I'd get praise, I'd get rewarded, and everything would be okay. Now, I had that belief because that's what my life had been up until then. If I worked hard at school, if I worked hard at university, I then got the results. Did I have to talk about it? No. It was a case of working hard, and people would notice and people would see it. And I would be told, Sonia's a hard worker. And then I came into this environment where now I'm managing a group of people. I'm responsible for these people, but there's all these tensions in the relationship. And most importantly, I'm now in a really big system where people don't have time to notice what I'm doing. People don't have time to say, oh, there goes Sonia. She's a really hard worker, so she must be okay. I entered an environment where people didn't have time to do that. And if I wanted my managers to see that I was on the right track, if I wanted my managers to see that I was doing the right work, then I needed to not only do it, but tell them that I had to do it. And in my naivety, and I guess my stubbornness at the time, even though people told me, Sonia, you need to tell us what you're doing and how you're doing it, it just didn't compute. It sort of battled against my belief that if I'm doing the work, then you should be seeing it. And that was one of the biggest battles. And to be really honest and frank, I didn't win that battle at Marks and Spencer's. I left the store after a year of being there going, it's not for me. This is just not for me. They don't appreciate me. It's not how I want to work, and for all sorts of reasons. So that was one. Another one was that as a management trainee, one of the things that we had to do was make sure that if somebody from head office came, we could tell them how much each line item on our section. So I started on produce, so all the fruit and veg, how much each line, each item took in a week. And the expectation was that we just knew it. And that wasn't my forte. I really struggled to memorize what it was. So I would memorize like the top sellers and maybe talk about one that wasn't going so well, but really my managers wanted me to know it all. I then found a way of having some of the information there with me so that I could take them through it. But if somebody gave us a surprise visit, which they often did because it was such a political store and it was such a all eyes were on the first out of town store, then I didn't have time to do that. So I needed to spend time learning all of that. And I just thought, that's not what I want to do. Now, you might be sat there going, Sonia, yes, I agree with you. That's ludicrous. You shouldn't have to do that. But actually, that stubbornness got in my way, because even if I didn't agree that I should be spending my time doing that, there was a reason for it. It was a way for them to see that I was taking a real interest in what each of my line items were doing, that I could then talk confidently about them, that I knew what to look at and what to ignore, that I knew what information was important for me to have at my fingertips for anybody that came along from head office. And that was part of the training. And I was just too stubborn at the time, really, and too stubborn, too stuck in my own mindset and my own beliefs around what should and shouldn't happen. So that's something that I really needed to change. Now, as I was saying, I left after a year, and this, it all culminated in Richard Greenbury was the chairman at the time, and we'd been told that he was coming. he was coming for a visit, and that he would be there about 8 o'clock in the morning. So we all needed to be on the shop floor with everything clean and everything done, and us looking spick and span as well at 6. So I landed at 6 o'clock in the morning, was cleaning everything, making sure that everything was there, memorizing all the key facts and figures that I needed to memorize. And then Richard Greenbury didn't turn up until 9 o'clock that evening. So I spent the whole day stocking shelves, cleaning, prepping, and then he didn't turn up till 9 o'clock that evening. Busy man, landed with his helicopter in the car park, and that was a 6 o'clock till 10 in the morning till 10 o'clock shift. And I just went home going, this isn't right. This shouldn't happen to me. Why are we sat here doing this? It was a waste of time. And I didn't put myself in anybody else's shoes. I didn't think that he was a busy man, that he had been going around all of the stores. I didn't think about the importance for the project. So put it in the broader sense, the importance strategically of this store for Marks and Spencer's, the importance strategically for my management team in the store to position themselves as leaders in the organization and taking something forward. I was only thinking about me. So after a year, I left, and Marks and Spencer's were great. I had an exit interview, and they helped me even decide on what my next career was going to be, which ended up being in marketing. And they made that suggestion, and I looked into it, and it worked really well. But what I really want you to take away from this is that a lot of the times, the challenges that we face as first-time managers, we can say it's because we've got older people, or it's because these people are difficult, or it's because we don't like doing we don't like doing something, or we don't believe that what we're being asked to do is right. And what I'd say is that the first place for you to look at is in here. Look at yourself. What are the beliefs that you have developed, that you have rightly developed, because that's your experience so far? How do you look at them, and look at them almost once removed? How do you look at them from somebody else's point of view and see what they're seeing? Those are all skills that are really critical for us at any stage in our career to develop and to keep on developing and keep on perfecting. So what are the beliefs that are getting in your way? What are the values that are maybe clashing? What are the things that you're not seeing from the other person's point of view? And if they were to look at you, what would they see? How would they experience you? And if you work on that first, you will work on the critical challenges that you will be facing in any leadership or management position, especially at the beginning of your career. If you start there and build that as a habit, but this ability to see yourself from somebody else's point of view is something that will really stand you in good stead as you go through at all the various crossroads in your career, and as you take on, if you choose to, more and more leadership positions. So if you found that useful, let me know. If you've got a question at all about any challenges that you're facing in terms of leadership, in terms of managing others, in terms of your own mindset, then also let me know. I'm going to be live here all week around this time, lunchtime, 1 o'clock-ish, 1 to 1:30 every day. Let me know, and let me know what questions you have, and I will speak to you soon. Hopefully my mic will work well next time as well. All right, take care. Have a good day. Bye.